So I don't know that anybody is here from the Spiritan community. I started with them just to kind of do an example of, of what we're going to do here, because I know both Anne Marie and Rich through another group that we are a part of called LOD. So I am going to do their presentation just to kind of get us started here. But their community is the Spiritan community, the Congregation of the Holy Spirit. They are based in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, the local community, but theirs is also a worldwide congregation with their headquarters in Rome. What I like about what Anne Marie had to say is we are small but mighty. Our involvement with the congregation on many levels was recently celebrated. And I spoke with her not too long after that, and she was just so excited coming out of this, not really focusing on their numbers, but just saying we've got some great things going on. They are very much into social justice issues. They believe that it's important to serve those who are hard to reach. And they say in their charism that their ministry is to places where the church finds it difficult. They are a worldwide organization. In the United States, there are 16 lay Spiritans, and there are more than 100 lay spirit associates in the United States. Their successes include creating a community of radical welcome and participating both in ministries with those on the margins and serving in various leadership positions. And their goals are to develop associate leadership and meet the call for more associates to join in co-responsibility in all areas of Spiritan ministry. So these are, they are located in Bethel Park. They're very active. They have an active group. They also participate in their ministries as well as providing opportunities for community fellowship too. So that are the Spiritans, the Congregation of the Holy Spirit. So next up, Rose, if you can tell us about the Sisters of Notre Dame, can you please unmute yourself? And can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes, I can. The Sisters of Notre Dame have been in existence for about 200 years plus, and our associate program is about 20 years old, plus a few years. The Sisters of Notre Dame are global as well. We're in 5 continents and some countries: Korea, Indonesia, Kenya, Germany, Brazil, India, and a lot of our novices for Sisters of Notre Dame are in formation are coming from these countries. The charism of the Sisters of Notre Dame, as well as the associates, is to bring God's goodness and provident care to others through a joyful simplicity and trust, and through love and devotion through Our Lady Mary. There are many ministries that the Sisters of Notre Dame and the associates are now involved in. We help in the healthcare center as associates. We volunteer, we do outings, we visit, we do arts and crafts. Some of the ministries in the local Cleveland area, we have the Blessing House, located in Lorraine for children in crisis. House of Champions on the west side, where we volunteer after school activities. One of the newest is the Doors of Hope in Geauga County, which provides temporary housing for families in crisis. There are others, but one of the other newest ones is down in Laredo, Texas. We have a hospitality house for volunteers who come down, and some of our associates from Chardon have traveled to Texas, and we help at the respite center for migrants in Laredo, Texas. Our associates have planned retreats, Lenten prayer services, Advent prayer services, and a yearly summer picnic, both for associates and our sisters. Our biggest challenge is to become independent within the next 10 years, the associates totally independent, and also the coordination of the associates from the 4 provinces in the United States, since our sisters have joined the 4 provinces now into the SND of USA. So now our associate program will do the same. So, and some of our successes, we now have a common handbook. We have a common formation program, and we have our common faith sharing groups that really is the strength of our associate communities, and would be happy to share any of those ideas with others, as well as taking your ideas that might help us into our leadership program in the future.
Awesome, Rose. Thank you so much. I've got to tell you, my background is with the Sisters of Notre Dame. I think if you look at so many of the schools, at least in the Cleveland area, so many of us have had a Sister of Notre Dame at some point in our education. And again, good luck to, I know there's a lot you guys are dealing with, and thank you for sharing. Okay, the humility of the sisters, the humility of the Sisters of Mary Associate Program. I know both Anne, our director, is on the call, and I know Clara, who also assists. I don't know who's going to present, but please unmute yourself and tell us about the Humility of Mary Associate Program.
Thank you, Donna. Our charism is humility, and we've expanded it through various sisters to mean much more than just humility. And I remember so clearly from Sister Carol Zinn, who told us, you don't own the charism owns you. We have ministries in education, healthcare, pastoral, advocacy, and social service. One of the associates' local ministries is serving and working with our clients at the Dorothy Day House of Hospitality. Our mother house is Villa Maria, PA. We have 56 associates and 9 candidates in formation. We have 97 vowed members. Our successes, and this is, I just have to give credit to Sister Toby Lordy. We created a communications coordinator for the advisory board, and that person is Clara Cana, who's on this call. We completed a 2-year planning process, a strategic plan, 9 new candidates, and they are all younger than our median age, which mirrors the median age of the sisters. We revised our formation process, created a formation team. We engaged many more of our associates in the creation of wisdom circles, which were an outgrowth of our planning process. We lowered the age for associate membership from 21 to 18. Our challenges, miscommunication with vowed members, big challenge, increasing member engagement, attracting younger members to become associates, and increasing our membership. Our goals that we've set through the strategic plan and the wisdom circles, increasing the ministry opportunities, expanding the interactive times with the HM sisters, increasing member engagement. We have not a lot, but a small handful of what we call missing in action associates, and they are a real challenge to bring in. We've also addressed the issue of our aging associates who have mobility and handicapped issues, we created a new category of associates. They are prayers. And what we'd like to share, annual associate retreat, implementing our planning process. Our lifetime commitment has been expanded. We have the associate picnic annually inside, not outside, because tomorrow is our picnic date. It's going to be 91 degrees. Clara created a community weekly update, created a Monday update. I created a Friday HM associate prayer, and we have associate involvement in the local communities, and we span 3 regions, really. There's Villa, Youngstown, PA, Cleveland, and Akron-Canton.
Okay, Ann, thank you very much. This is a wonderful information on our community, and I think it really shows how active you have been and our group has been, in moving things forward. So Linda from the Sisters of Divine Providence is going to present on her community. Linda.
Yes, thank you, Donna. Our community is an international, intercultural, and an intergenerational community. We began in Germany under Bishop Kettler's tutelage, and since then we've spread to the United States. Some sisters are in the Caribbean as well as associates in Peru and in Korea. We have a total of about 298 sisters throughout the whole international area. And we come to about 818 associates. In the United States, we have about 100, it's about equal, 100 sisters and 100 associates. And typically in the US, we were involved in hospitals and education. Since that time, we've kind of branched out. We do all kinds of work with the poor. We have we helped to sponsor a refugee house in Harlingen, Texas, or near Brownsville, and we also have a refugee house on the property in Allison Park, and so we take in families there, try and make sure that they're prepared with English classes and school for the children and finding jobs and getting their paperwork in order so that they can move onto an apartment and become more independent. Our successes, we've improved our communications with Zoom, and the challenges are dwindling numbers after COVID and closing of many facilities. Goals are developing local leadership in various areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. We have the Sisters of the Incarnate Word of, my screen of the Blessed Sacrament. I'm not sure who's going to present. I know Alex is on the call. If you can please unmute and tell us about your community.
Well, actually, we have also Barb and Sharon, so I guess would it be better if they can help us talking about the community?
Sure, I'd help. You want me to read that or discuss that?
Yeah,
Sure.
okay.
And Sharon Tressel again is with me here. Our charism, well, first we're located in Parma Heights, Ohio. The Sisters is a small community, and our charism is the extension of the incarnate word in today's world. And our charism is the Beatitudes. Our ministries, we have education, giving witness to the Spirit of Jesus dwelling within us, and sharing ourselves and our gifts within our own parishes in the Church of the world. Our location is, like I said, it's local in Parma Heights. We have 12 consecrated vowed sisters and 24 associates. Our mother house, again, is in Parma, Parma Heights.
Okay.
Our successes, discussing the ways, we just revised our way of life book that we created, and also a handbook for the associates. Challenges, kind of what I've been hearing too from the others, on the dwindling numbers of associates due to aging, the few sisters left at the mother house. We're beginning the process of futuring for the associates. The original group of 12 associates made their first commitment in '84. And we saw a rise of almost 50 members throughout the years. And as I said earlier, we are celebrating our 40 years as lay associates with Sisters of Incarnate Word. Our goals are supporting our sisters and developing associate leadership and strategic planning. The original group of 12 associates made their first commitment in '84 after 1 year of prayer and study. And they saw a rise, as I said earlier, of 50 members throughout the years. But as time kind of comes to today's thing, we have less associates that we'd like to. And we have the same issues of challenges as far as increasing our memberships. And we meet on the second Sunday of the month for prayer, reflection, study. And that's kind of about it.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that. It sounds like a wonderful group.
It is.
Okay, the Dominican Sisters of Peace, I know that there are a couple of members with this group on this call. I think both Connie and Mary Lou I saw. I'm not sure who's going to present, but please unmute yourself and tell us about your group.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Connie Dubick. I'm a Dominican Associate of Peace, and please listen carefully because my voice is a little cracky. This whole process with using our Anita Davidson, who is a Dominican of Peace Associate, has just awakened in us some wonderful thinking and planning. And in the meantime, we've also been struck by a decision that had to be made where our mother house that the Northeast Ohio associates go to is closing. And this is one of the pictures of our chapel with that beautiful mural that one of the sisters did years ago. And so we're in a transition, and Anita's words to us and this kind of a program is very helpful as we kind of put our thoughts back together. But what's important, I think, to know about Dominicans of Peace is that we are in 22 states. Back in 2009, 7 congregations of Dominicans merged into Peace. They had been in different parts of the country. So we're a large organization across the country. And then we have international sites as well. That's primarily sisters, but some associates get involved. And Columbus is the primary site for a mother house for Dominican Sisters of Peace. I think one of the advantages that I just love is our history, which of course started with St. Dominic and Catherine of Siena. And they just were not sitting in their rooms praying and hoping that things would turn out. They went out into the world. And that's kind of the message that we have, to be out there doing things. And of course, the challenges are, we're looking, what is our future, especially in Northeast Ohio, but of course the other congregations, the other locations across the country. And we're trying to listen to the voices of those either that are currently in the associate program or those that are looking at us saying, what do they do? And listening is an important part as well as talking. We're trying to look at all the ministries that we can be involved in, because that again is that outreach. It's not just personal private prayer. That's a piece of it, but it's also being out in the community. And I think that we make a commitment to be companions to the sisters, for prayer, study, and ministry. And that means, and this is what I think is so exciting, that we are attorneys, teachers, business owners, factory workers, doctors, ministers, homemakers. We're out there. And that's the burden, and that's the pleasure too of who we are as Dominican Associates of Peace. So we are moving forward. It's a tough time right now. We're working, in fact, we have a program coming up on August 4th where we're going to be looking at Northeast Ohio and talking about, okay, what now? What, so what, now what? So this is a perfect time for me to be listening to what all of you are saying. So moving forward.
Thank you, Connie. Wonderful words. Okay, the Sisters of St. Francis of Penance and Charity. I'm not sure who is on the call. Did I see Linda? Could you please unmute yourself and tell us about your community?
Our community was founded after the Civil War in 1869. It is not connected to any community anywhere else in the world. It's a canonical community. We just celebrated last year 50 years of associates as part of our community. 2 of those associates were still around for to participate in the celebration. In 2018-19, we went through a reformation process and became financially self-sustaining apart from the sisters. We're still very much enmeshed in small groups with the sisters, but we are working toward a future of sustainability for the associate program. Our charism is from St. Francis and Clare, care of creation, hospitality, partnership, peacemaking, prayerful discernment, conversion of heart, serving the poor and marginalized, living simply and joyfully. Currently, ministries are in pastoral advocacy, working with rural and urban poor. Most of us are in Ohio, but we also have associates, 12 in Mexico. And that ministry just is closing this month. Those associates were all involved in the same ministry, and they're still going to be associates, but the ministry has been handed on to another group. Kentucky ministry is closing August 8th. We have one associates in Wisconsin, California, Oregon, and Florida. We have 65 members of the congregation, 68 associates. We just had one of our associates die. And our mother house and primary location is Tiffin, Ohio, which is Toledo Diocese, Northwest Ohio. We have been through the refounding process, as I said, and become financially sustainable. We've revised our formation and attracted 10 new members in the last 3 years, 3 in the pipeline right now. We have 1 novice for religious life and 1 candidate for religious life currently. Challenges: dwindling numbers, closing facilities, lack of leadership, miscommunication with vowed and consecrated membership. All of the above, especially dwindling leadership for the sisters and associates. So we're in a group of 4 Franciscan communities that are looking at shared governance in probably 10 years down the road. Our goal is to develop associate leadership at this point. That's primary for our leadership team.
Thank you, Linda.
Mm-hmm.
The Sisters of Charity of Nazareth, I believe I saw Betty signing in. Betty, can you unmute yourself and tell us about your community?
Sure. Our charism is basically charity. Our patrons are St. Vincent and St. Louise de Marillac. We have a variety of ministries. Most of the ministries are headquartered down in Nazareth, Kentucky, which is our mother house. We have 445 vowed members. the interesting thing is that most of the ones in the United States are well over the age of 65. Most of them that are in Patna or Bangalore or the Nepal provinces are under 65. The number of associates in total in the United States and Belize, which we consider to be part of the Americas, is 207, but we only have 5 here in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh at one point in time in 2008 were independent Sisters of Charity, Vincentian Sisters of Charity. They merged in 2008 with the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth, where I actually came in to work as an accountant in the Pittsburgh office. So actually now I'm actually the property manager and take care of the remaining sisters here in Pittsburgh, which are down to, I guess, only 18 sisters, some of which are actually in local institutions. You know, before the pandemic, we were much more active. We actively worked with a local agency to prepare, you know, sandwiches for the homeless. We did other kind of fundraisers for the food banks and for especially most of the sisters in Pittsburgh were in education at one point in time. So we did a large fundraiser and activity to put together book bags for kids before they would go into school. Right now, I can basically just get what I have left together probably about 4 times a year. For a Lenten retreat, we do St. Vincent and St. Louis feast, and we try to do something during the Advent season. Mostly what we do now is, for example, we had a large fire at the homeless facilities in Pittsburgh that had only been in operation for a small while. Through the Sisters, the Associates, and our local community that comes to Mass at our chapel, we were able to raise $1,300 to forward over for the homeless. As with everybody, we've lost local members in age. You know, the ones that we still have are, you know, have either health issues themselves or, you know, family health issues that they have to attend to. The whole community of associates for the Sisters of Charity are working on envisioning what we're going to look like for the future. We realize that how we operate now, how we, you know, somebody comes into the organization, you know, in a lot of respects mirrored the formation of the sisters. And now, you know, to get younger members in, we have to retool how we attract people and how we get them involved in our ministries. And that's about it.
Okay, Betty, thank you very much. We appreciate your sharing. The Ursuline Sisters of Youngstown, Sister Norma.
Good morning. I'm been the liaison with our leadership team and with our associate planning team for about 15 years. We operate as a team because we are the only mother house in Youngstown and we are all local. So for us, these are very generous associates who are definitely carrying the charism. And the current planning team has agreed to stay on since COVID, since they did such a great job getting us through COVID. But, and the newest development there is one of our members has started a associate newsletter monthly. But the unique thing about us also is that we have St. Angela as a founder in 1535 in Italy. And our group of associates has been in existence for about 25 years. And our challenge too is to seek and attract younger associates. Anita's charism carriers also struck me because we have associates who are not active, but we also have very active
Oh,
associates.
yes, yeah.
And they have crossed our paths through the years, and they are now in leadership and in really carrying our charism forward. For example, Peggy Eicher, who's on this call, was a volunteer, and then she became our Mother House administrator. And now she oversees our senior living apartments and our current construction. Our Mother House is being converted to an assisted living. And everything is torn up again because we didn't have a sprinkler system. And now it's being put in, and we're having little tea kitchens and recarpeting and painting and new offices. Peggy has mentored Linda, who now is our overseer at the Mother House. Michelle has been our communication director in social media and working with young adults. And we have been successful in getting a few young adults who have responded to the call to be an associate. And we have a very active HIV ministry where Dan Wakefield retired, and he now works with the Sisters, Humility Mary Sisters and Ursuline Sisters and Associates as the lead, co-leader at our Dorothy Day House in Youngstown. And Bridget Kennedy, who was in the HIV ministry, now is the CEO of Ursuline Sisters Mission, which combines all the nonprofits.
Time, yeah, because I'm
well as
not going to
assistance.
start cleaning up downstairs.
So
yet.
one of our challenges is how to support these very active associates who are maintaining their vocations as grandparents and leading very full lives, and then dedicating themselves and living this charism so fully. So I think that's a challenge that we have because they're subject to burnout, as all of us are.
Thank you, Sister Norma. The sisters, okay, can everybody please check and see if you're muted on your microphone? That would be helpful. Please check your mute. Okay, the Sisters of St. Joseph of Northwestern Pennsylvania, Sister Anne Marie, or is anybody from that community present with us today? Please unmute yourself.
I unmuted myself. Carol Doors present too. So if she wants to chime in, I guess I'm kind of wasn't prepared to give a lot of numbers and all that people are giving, but our charism of the Sisters of St. Joseph is unity and reconciliation. And we're called to work for making all one. And so there are 196 associates we have, and we've been taking associates since 1982. We presently have 4 candidates who will be welcomed in September. And we face the same challenges that everybody's been talking about: age, numbers, etc. Our associates are a little bit different than from what I've been listening to. Our community is working so together and planning this year. We're all one, and so the associates participate in everything that the sisters do, and all the meetings and everything sisters have, except when the sisters are involved with discussing finances or government. So our goal is to work toward being one and doing everything as one. So anything we have, the sisters come to; anything the sisters have, the associates come to. So it's kind of difficult to separate. We have many associates who are able to be active yet, but we also have the difficulty of those who are facing old age. We work and participate with all our ministries. We have Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network, which works to refurbish several neighborhoods in the city. They're doing a lot of great work reaching out. We have St. Mary's Home. It's a home for the aging. We have St. Patrick's Haven. It's a homeless shelter for men in Erie. And we have St. James Haven in homeless shelter for men in Meadville. We are a diocesan community, so we stay strictly within the Erie Diocese. And we belong to the Sisters of St. Joseph Federation. And that's made up of all the sisters from the United States. I don't know what else. I guess probably our biggest challenge is, again, like everybody else, facing the age difference. We're trying to attract younger members, but it's a difficult situation. We're trying to reach out to the elderly who cannot participate actively anymore. And we also have had several associates moving from from Erie out of town. And so that's another challenge. We're trying to keep in touch with all of them and making them still, feel part of us. I don't know if Carol has anything else to say. I guess that's,
Okay.
I don't hear.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate all of your input, and I think it's very helpful, especially the part about the diocesan community. That's not one that I've really heard before. So thank you for sharing that. We have the Pittsburgh Passionate Associates. Paul, I know you are going to speak to us about your group. Can you please unmute yourself?
Thank you. The Pittsburgh Passionist Associates, we're located at St. Paul the Cross Monastery and Retreat Center in Pittsburgh, PA. Passionist Associates, we follow the life and rule taught and lived by St. Paul the Cross, an 18th century mystic and preacher. We are fortunate to have 5 vowed Passionists living at the monastery and retreat house. We do have ongoing retreats during the September through May year, which allows us to see in those retreats, and also at the masses at the monastery, we can see certain individuals who may be a good fit for the Passionist Associates in Pittsburgh. And so so within our group, we do have 26 members currently. We have 3 new members in formation. And in the formation group, we have, not only do we're in formation with the local Pittsburgh group, but Judy, one of our associates, she has brought upon herself to do Zoom meetings to the other Passionist Associates in Jamaica, New York, in Florida, in other parts of the country, to allow, so we're all getting formed in the charism of the Passionists, with the same background and formation. So, and that's been very helpful, because some of the other groups that are smaller than us, that really helps them to grow their communities, because now they have a go-to for their formation, which in their smaller groups, they weren't able to get that off the ground for what different reasons that may have been. So going forward now, in our formation group, not only is it just, it's always ongoing, as we all know. The formation is for the new associates that will be coveting in October, this coming year, 2024. but it also means we have to continue our formation as associates. And we do that. And how we do that is we break our group down into four service group areas. And those are fellowship group, service group, formation, spirituality, and then an active service group, which is the cry of the poor and the cry of the earth. We have two subsets of the service group. And our associate members all break down into those groups, and everyone has to belong to one of the groups or multiple ones. And we do change that throughout the year. They can adjust or change depending on their talents. But it's been, and through that formation, service, spirituality, we're able to grow, and not only in the formation of our charism, but in the spirituality that expands us outside of our charism to the teaching of the Catholic Church, to the spirituality of individuals. They can bring their own talents and how God has maybe reached out through them and showed them, how to live the Catholic faith. And so they can share that with the group. And we allow that openness to grow in our faith as well.
Thank you very much. That's
Sure.
very helpful information. I love how you've broken down into the groups and done that. It covers a lot of different things. So thank you very much. The congregation of the Sister Servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. This is one of our newer groups. We welcome you to OPAL and are excited to have you as members. Alice, I think I saw you sign on. Are you able to unmute yourself and tell us about your group?
Yes, I am. Good morning. So we are based in Scranton, Pennsylvania. We are a regional group. We have associates in Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, New York, and Florida, to name a few states. The congregation was founded in 1845, mainly as educators, but now we also do pastoral care and a lot of advocacy. And you can see that in our sponsored and co-sponsored ministries. We sponsor Marywood University in Scranton, Our Lady of Grace Montessori School in Manhasset, New York, St. Joseph Center in Scranton, which serves individuals who with developmental challenges. And we also have Friends of the Poor in Scranton, which serves the poor and underserved of Scranton. Our co-sponsored ministries are Mother Seton Academy, which is a tuition-free middle school for the economically challenged in Baltimore. We also have Nativity Miguel School in Scranton, which is along those same lines, and the African Sisters Educational Collaborative, or ASEC, which increases access to education in Africa by educating African women religious so that they can take their skills back home and educate the people of Africa. We have approximately 240 vowed members and approximately 180 associates. You can go to the next one. Our successes are creation of a quarterly associate newsletter. The first newsletter came out in April, and it's a great way for us to keep in touch with each other and kind of let everybody know what the other groups are working on, so we can share ideas in that way. And the revision of the Associate Prayer Resource Manual. It's a little bit more streamlined now, a little bit easier to get through, which is nice. Our challenges are a lack of leadership among associates. We are recently formed a group, and we are in the beginning stages of a leadership program, so that associates are more confident and have the tools to facilitate their own smaller groups. Like everybody else, kind of the increased age of the associates and attracting younger associates to our group, and many inactive associates. The longtime director of associates died 2 years ago, and there was really nobody in that spot until last year. Sister Ruth Harkins, who is now our Director of Associates, is doing a great job trying to get inactive associates more active, and seeing where their gifts could be helpful and what their interests are. Our goals are building and deepening relationships among the associates and strengthening the relationship between sisters and associates. Thanks.
Alice, thank you very much. That was very, very helpful. I love the heart picture with the seating. It's just so welcoming and inviting.
That's a
And,
prayer garden. That's absolutely beautiful.
So, okay, we have Donna, who is representing the Ursuline Associates. I've seen of Louisville or of Kentucky. I've seen both titles. Donna, can you tell us about your community?
Yes. We are the Ursuline Associates of Louisville, Kentucky. I was one of the founding members of 3. And our first official formation came to completion in April 1980. Our charism is a contemplative love of God and a resulting openness and eagerness to serve the needs of others. Our ministries are education, healthcare, community service, spirituality, social peace and justice, ecology, homelessness, and all the people that live on the margins of society. We have a strong foundation, which is the root of our success, I think, is the community is essential. You've got to keep your community strong and your bonding close together. Our successes are a strong spiritual nourishing committee. We have a directory committee, and we have a photo of every associate in there out of all the different states. And now that has their name, address, phone number, birthday, and email address. And this year we are working on doing a bio to add to the directory. We're asking people to write like a 1-page bio that gives us a deeper connection with all the members, and then we will include that into the directory. We have a strong bereavement committee, and we made those people out of 5 sections of our city, which is a group of 6 or 7 members in each group that attend the visitation and the funeral and stay in touch about every 2 months for the first year. And that's what made it easier, is when we took the sections of each group of our city and divided that way one person wouldn't have to go all the way across town to be a part of it. We have a strong Associate Connect committee, which is we call, email, or write to strengthen our bond with all the members of our associates, to make them feel needed and to make them sure that they are part of our community. We have bi-monthly reflection groups, which is we have like 7 to 13 sisters and associates that pray together every other month. And we have a rotation of prayer leaders, which strengthens our bonds. We just are revising our formation program, an initial ongoing formation program. We have only 37 sisters living, and we have a beautiful 48-acre Ursuline campus. We have a total of 153 active associates, 10 in Indiana, 80 in Kentucky, 36 in Maryland, South Carolina 6, Virginia 2, West Virginia 4, India 1, and 50 in Peru. Our challenges are building a strong and vibrant community that will be financially stable, and we are united in one heart and sacred charism.
Donna, thank you so much. I appreciate all of your sharing your information. It sounds like you've got a small group of and dealing with a lot of the same things with sisters, but a very vibrant associate program. Thank you.
Thank you.
I, at this point, do not have, any of the information from two of our other members, the Sisters of Charity of St. Augustine or the Felician Sisters of North America. But I know that there may be, individuals on the call from these communities. So I would like to invite anybody from either of these groups who would like to share information about your community with us to please unmute and tell us about your community.
I'm Sister Gerard from the Felician Sisters, and I'm sorry I did not fill out the form, the one that was on the sheet. We were founded in 1855 in Poland. We are a congregation throughout the world. Our general mother house is in Rome, Italy. Our provincial house is in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. About 12 years ago, we formed one province out of 8. We have, right now, I'm speaking about the Felicians in Buffalo, our associates. We are currently trying to put together all of our former 8 provinces, the associate programs, to come under one umbrella to follow the same type of programs, service programs, spiritual programs, retreat days. Once we formed one province, before we were individual provinces, everybody did their own, everybody did their own program. We're trying to get back to basics and do the original form of the associate program, which was started about 35 years ago. We have our mission, our charism is mainly for women and children, which was started by our founders, Blessed Mary Angela Truskowska in Poland. She had a calling for the poor, especially women and children. Our charism is it's boundless love of God and compassionate service. So that is mainly our focus, and coordinating the associate program with our sisters' ministries and our core values is what we're really trying to focus on. So we do a lot with various organizations within the Buffalo area regarding homeless women, homes for unwed mothers, food pantries, as being of service to them either as part of their lay ministry or part of our ministries. So basically, that's what I can tell you about us. We have currently in Buffalo, including people in leadership, in formation. In our associate program, we have 21. We do a real formation program, which includes a year of inquiry, 6 months to a year of inquiry, 6 months to a year of candidacy, and then a final commitment. We have monthly meetings. We have a yearly retreat. Our meetings follow a format of spiritual, social, and service. So at each of our meetings, we do something for each of those areas regarding our charism. In the Buffalo area, our sisters, we have about 55 in our local convent, as well as about 10 sisters out in ministry. Totally for congregation, I do not have that number right now. I will do my best to fill this form out as soon as I can and mail it into you. Thank you for the opportunity to tell you just a little bit about ourselves.
Thank you, sister. That was really very helpful information. Is anybody here from the Sisters of Charity of St. Augustine? I think I received an email that said they were not able to attend, but I want to surely make sure that somebody, if they're here, that they can speak. Okay. All right, a lot of information, right? first of all, I want to thank all the presenters for sharing this information. Very, very helpful, and I don't know about the rest of you, but to be able to hear so much, not only about who you are and what you do, but what it looks like moving forward. Because I think as we talk about throwing open the doors, we're really looking at futuring, you know, where do we go from here? How is this going to look into the future? So what I would like to do now is to open it up to all of you to share your insights, your thoughts after you have listened to these presentations and what we've learned. Tell us what you think. If you want to raise your hand in the reactions at the bottom, it's easiest if you can click on hand raise and we'll call on you to share what you think about what we've talked about, what we remember from Anita's presentation, and then we'll talk about where we're going to go from here. Any thoughts? Anne. Unmute yourself, Anne. Okay.
I really feel validated as an HM associate and our commitment in being a part of OPAL, because I just heard over and over how many of the same challenges that each associate group is facing. And I think collaboration is the word that comes to my mind. You know, how can we collaborate and share plans for overcoming those challenges?
Thank you, Anne.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not seeing your hand and you want to say something, just speak up. Mary.
There we go. I, for one, am just so grateful that I have 2 pages of notes that I took as each of the presenters were sharing what they did within their own communities and smaller groups of associates. And I can't wait to bring this back with my Bear, Delaware, Scranton IHM associate, Joanne, to our Circle of Grace meetings that we have each month. We are working towards some regional collaboration because we have a good number of associates in the Delaware, Maryland areas. So there's a wealth that we can share, and many thanks to each of you for that.
Thank you, Mary. Rose?
Yes, thank you. I'm not sure what I did there, but thank you. I heard many of the communities talk about the associate groups, the individual associate groups becoming one, as some of their congregations have done throughout the United States. I would be very interested, excuse me, if, and I wonder if anybody would entertain this idea with me, in different associate groups, speaking about their finances and their governance as they are becoming or have become
$35 that's it.
independent from their congregations as a matter of necessity and growth. I just think that would be very valuable, interesting information to share, and perhaps some provision for that at the October meeting. That's just a thought, but I do hear that as a commonality for many of the groups Now, maybe, maybe it's not enough for all of us, so therefore, maybe it's not a realistic thought. But that is what struck me as I heard people speaking about their associate groups. Of course, there were many other things as well, but that one stuck with me. Finances of an independent associate group of associate group. So thank you for that.
Barb?
Yes, Sharon would like to share something.
Hi, everything that everybody's been saying is really, really important. And I recall a talk that Sister Carol Zinn gave us when we were at Villa Maria. I think it was a couple of years ago. And one of the most important things she said, I think, was it is not our job as associates to continue the congregations. It is our job as associates to carry on the charisms. And I think that over time, we're in growing pains, everybody knows that. And it's hard because we feel the same things happening, age, illness, where do we go? But I think through prayer, that's going to be one of the main ways that we are led by the Spirit, because that's the only way that we're going to know the direction that we're going. And maybe it would be good to see what is the thing that we all have in common, and what are the differences that we all have, because those make us uniquely who we are. So maybe over time, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating anything, because I wasn't at the last one, but whatever it is, the thing that we all have in common is going to be what continues to draw us together and gives us our strength to find out where we're going from here. So I vote that prayer is going to be number one, and to continue the communication with each other, as you're so beautifully doing, to get us all together like this, because we're all sort of out there sometimes feeling like we're, flying solo, and we're really not. It's just that we're not in the same room. So I don't know. That's just what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Carol.